Victor, thanks for sending me the pictures. I like how you guys are cleaning up the front and stuff. Um, so a couple things is one, I'm looking at the new driveway and stuff, which looks great. My biggest concern with using those, and I think it's what you're talking about that your wife likes, is the kind of the in ground ones. They look like a stone. And my only concern with those and what I've had experience with is because they go in there and they shine straight up as you're walking over them or driving over them and stuff. They're just shining just straight up in your eye. And I just find it's not typically the best way to do it. What I would rather see you do if you wanted to line some stuff around here is, I'm not too sure if you guys are planning just making this all grass, or if this is going to be kind of like a rock garden or rock grass area, kind of like you have here. If you were to do that, then what I would do is I would just use path lights along here, and maybe 4 or 5 of them, more just to give you a little bit of ambience walking up the pathway here, instead of putting those lights that are going to be shining right in your eyes. So that's probably what I would do there instead. And same thing on the other side. If that's something you wanted to do, you could maybe look at 4 or 5 of those as well. And then I would really just focus on some of the bigger trees, like obviously the big palm tree. If you can get 1 or 2 lights on that. I love the way palm trees look with accent lights, because you really get the texture of that bark. I'd probably try and get an accent light on the tree back here and the tree here. And then I notice you do have some along the side that if you wanted to maybe put a few of those, would also be another great way to do it. And then on this side here of the house, just depends what you guys are planning on finishing off with for landscape. I noticed in the earlier picture you did have a this nice big tree, which would look good if you had probably 2 accent lights kind of cornering this one and lighting this up. And then the front of the house, I see you've got a nice little shrub bush here that would be good for an accent light. And then these kind of plants in the front or hedges, what I would maybe do is like a wash light or 2, a wash light just because it has a wider angle on it. So something like this. So you have 2 options. This is a good one. I think you don't need a super bright one, so you could even look at something that's not quite as bright, more like our brass one. It's a little more cost effective, but would do a really good job on those shrubs. And then for uplighting and accenting all those other trees, I would look at our standard up an accent light here. It would do a great job for all that. And then this would kind of be the path lights I would recommend you line a driveway with. And then same thing in the back. A lot of people around the pool will use some path lights. Not a ton. You don't have to, you can space them out pretty sparingly. 12 to 15 feet apart is usually good for some good ambience. And depending on the size of these trees, which they look like they're pretty big, you might want to consider 1 or 2 accent lights on that as well. So it really just depends on your budget, what you think is going to work. I mean, 4, 5, 6, maybe 4 or 5 path lights, so maybe 10 lights in the back. And I mean, same thing in the front. You might have 1, 2, 3, 4 path lights, maybe 8 path lights on the driveway if you guys decide to go with that option. And then a couple up lights and some wash lights, and then maybe a few more up lights here. So maybe another 4 or 5 up lights and then 2 wash lights. So call it 10 up lights, 10 path lights or so. The one thing I will say is, I know you mentioned ZDC. I love the option of ZDC. I have it in my house. The only thing is, you have to consider with ZDC is the transformer alone is 4 to 5 times the cost of a regular transformer, and then every light is going to be quite a bit more too. So this is a ZDC light. You can see this is 4 times the cost of a regular landscape light. What I will say is there are some options that will be coming out very shortly where you actually have you can buy a standard uplighting fixture, and then you can will hopefully have the ability to just put a drop-in bulb in there that's going to be color changing, that you can operate by Bluetooth. You can have the same transformer and everything. It's maybe going to be a $65 upgrade as opposed to a $350 upgrade. So in my opinion, unless you want to spend $10,000 on this project, I would probably wait until that technology comes out so that you can use the color changing that way. But the other thing you could do too is you don't have to make every light color changing. If you did want to go ZDC, you could run all your lights off one transformer, whether it's the front or the back, as long as you can get the wire around somewhere, and depending on where you put that transformer. But if you can do that, you can run all the lights off the ZDC transformer, and then you only pick and choose, you know, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 color changing lights, and all the other lights will still run off that transformer just regular. So that's another way to do it. And often when we put in a ZDC system, that's what we do, is we have the transformer so that we can run all the lights color potentially if we want to, but typically we'll only use maybe 4 or 5 color ones on some feature areas, and the rest will just be standard landscape lighting fixtures with a good drop-in LED bulb. So hopefully that helps. I mean, go have a look, play around on our website. You can kind of start picking and choosing some lights, adding them to your cart, building a budget that way. Or you can always look at, if you go to the shop page, you can look at starting with a kit. So you might want to say, hey, I'm going to start with this one, and then you add on some wash lights, maybe a couple other path lights, and any of the kits that you decide, the transformer will be enough. And if you're going to build your own kit, the wiring kit that we do have in there, which is on the first page here, this kit has a 150 watt transformer, which will easily handle, so if you look at the wiring kit, right here, this will easily handle 20 plus lights. And if you do end up buying, say, maybe 25 or 30 lights, I would just upgrade the transformer automatically. There'd be no extra charge to that, and make sure we can handle all the lights. So hopefully that helps. Any questions, just email me back. All right, thanks, Victor.
Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here, just shooting this quick intro on how to install low voltage landscape lighting. This is just an updated version using some of the new materials and products and cool tips and tools and tricks to help it make it even easier and more cost effective and help you save money if you're installing your own landscape lighting system, or if it's something that you want to look at down the road. So please leave me your comments and your questions. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks again for watching, guys, as we show you how to easily install low voltage landscape lighting. So there's various different lights you can look at. The most popular is easily the uplight, accent light, or bullet light, often used to highlight different trees and features in your yard. Another very popular light is a wash light, often used to highlight the fronts of homes and beautiful stonework. Path and garden lighting is also very popular, to use to light walkways and garden areas and plant material down below, as well as hardscape lighting, which is used in different kinds of hardscapes, as well as on fences and decks, and can also create some cool effects. And a great way to see what looks good is just to take a flashlight or any kind of light around at night, shine it on a few of those features, and really see what looks good and where you're going to position those lights. I strongly recommend looking at LED energy efficient bulbs for all of your landscape lighting. It saves on power and it lasts a long time. You see they only use 40 watts, 260 lumens, is very bright, and they still have that warm white look that you would find in an incandescent fixture. And if you have an existing landscape lighting system that is incandescent, it's very easy to retrofit with LED bulbs, again, just to save power and not have to be changing bulbs all the time. What we often recommend is go and find really good quality outdoor rated LED bulbs, and then go find really good incandescent fixtures, and just marry the two together and retrofit your incandescent fixtures with really good quality LED bulbs, and it'll help bring the cost down rather than going and buying a fully integrated LED fixture, which looks good and lasts a long time, but they do cost a lot more than doing this and just finding a really good fixture and retrofitting it with a really good bulb. So once you know where you're going to put your lights and you have your lights picked out, the next step is to start placing your lights. So we've determined where they're going to go. Start by digging just a small hole and just preliminarily placing your lights. I recommend using a rubber mallet so that you can really pound those ground stakes in and give them some good stability. Screw your light in afterwards so you can really get it in there. Make sure everything's level. And then from there, you start laying out your wire once you got all your lights in place, and be sure to leave extra wire at every fixture just to give yourself some wiggle room. Connecting the lights is quite simple. When you make your splice in your wire, You'll have a wire going in and a wire going out for each connection, as well as your fixture wire. And at every light, you're going to have 2 of those connections. I recommend a good waterproof connection, either a gel-filled snap block connector or these gel-filled DBRY connectors that come in 2 parts, that you have a moret that screws on and keeps the wires tight, and then the wire fills into a gel-filled tube that keeps the water out. So just be sure to make sure you're getting good waterproof connections that keep the wires free of the elements, as well as keep them from pulling apart. The next step is selecting your transformer. Very easy to do. If you look on any bulb that you purchase, it should give you the wattage, but if you have a 4.5 watt bulb and you have 10 of those, that's going to give you 45 watts, which means you want to select a transformer that's just slightly bigger than that. And I recommend trying to find a transformer that has a photocell as well as a timer built into it for easy use. Very easy to wire in your transformer. Depending on the transformer you have, it's generally going to have a common tap and a 12-volt tap. You just put 1 wire into each tap, screw them down tight, mount your transformer close to your GFCI receptacle so that you can get power, plug it in, turn it on, and go and make sure all your lights work before you start burying any wire. So once you've checked all your lights and everything works, you can start burying them. One thing I would recommend is looking at the Weon outdoor Wi-Fi switch. Is a great tool if you want to make your landscape lighting system totally smart and Wi-Fi operated. To bury the wires, very easy with a flat-ended shovel, creating a trench that's 6 to 8 inches deep, spreading the turf open and pushing that wire down and stomping it down within no time at all. It looks like you haven't even been there. And in the mulch, it's just a matter of pulling it back and creating a path to lay down that wire, stapling it down and burying everything over that. So hopefully that helped. And if you have any questions, by all means, you can always reach out to us and follow us on Facebook and YouTube.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching that video. I hope you guys got some great ideas for your own do-it-yourself landscape lighting projects. If you want your own free consultation video, like I said before, email me your pictures at cal@lightingdoctor.ca or go and visit us at lightingdoctor.ca, and be sure to check out our Try It Before You Buy It light, again, where you get 1 premium grade fixture and a King Innovation Instalight battery operated demo kit that you can go and test those lights out on your property before you make any big purchases. So I hope to see you guys again soon, and again, go get your free consultations by emailing your pictures or visit us at lightingdoctor.ca. Thanks so much for watching.